Storytime with Mr. Julio. Today, like I promised in the short, we are going to read the number 31 from Mr. Man Collection by Roger Hargreaves. I introduce to all you Mr. Tall. And before to start, don't forget to come here and subscribe. Thank you. Mr. Tall was very, very tall. Quite the tallest person you've ever met. In fact, quite the tallest person you've ever met. Because you've never met anybody with legs as long as Mr. Tall's legs. Have you? Now, the problem with being as tall as Mr. Tall was that life was just one long problem, as you can see. Oh dear, he used to sigh. Oh dear me. I do sure wish that my legs were quite so very, very, very long. He decides to go for a walk to think over his problem. He was just stepping over a tree when he heard a voice, a little voice. Hello! It was Mr. Small underneath a daisy. But Mr. Tall was so tall he couldn't see him. So Mr. Small shouted at the top of his voice, Hello! And Mr. Small's shout is about as loud as a bee's sneeze. Zzz. So it took quite some time for Mr. Tall to spot him. Oh, he said grimly, it's you. Oh, I'm allergic to the daisy. Oh my God. You don't look very happy, said Mr. Small. What's up? I'm not, replied Mr. Tall, because of that silly long legs of mine. Oh, said Mr. Small. This daisy. Mr. Small decided to cheer him up. Let's go for a walk together, he suggested. So they did, which of course didn't work. It was like a giraffe going for a walk with a mouse, as you can see. Then Mr. Small had an idea, which did work. Oh, nice, such a nice idea. And because of the length of Mr. Tall's leg, they very quickly walked all the way to the seaside. Come for a swim, cried Mr. Small. Can't, replied Mr. Tall. By the time it gets deep enough for me to swim, I'll be out to the other side. So Mr. Small went for a swim while Mr. Tall sat down with a face which was nearly as long as his legs. Mr. Tickle, come along. Hello, he said. You look as if you need cheering up. Care for a tickle? No, thanks, replied Mr. Tall. What I would care for are some different legs. Mine are much too long. So are my arms, said Mr. Tickle cheerfully, but all the better for tickling. And off he went, chuckling, looking for somebody to tickle. Looking for anybody to tickle? Let's go. Mr. Nosy, come along. Cheer up, he said. You look very down in the mouth. What's the problem? It's my legs, replied Mr. Tall. They're too long. Oh, poor Mr. Tall. So's my nose, replied Mr. Nosy, laughing, but all the better for poking into other people's business, and he went off looking for something to be nosy about. Looking for anything to be nosy about? Do you have something to hide? Mr. Grady came along. "Hello," he cried. "You look gloomy. What's wrong?" "It's my legs," explained Mr. Tall again. "They're too big." "Then so is my tummy," replied Mr. Grady, "but all the better for filling with food." And off he went, licking his lips. Mr. Tall sat there and thought about Mr. Tickle's arms, and Mr. Nose's nose, and Mr. Grady's tummy. He smiled, and then he grinned, and then he laughed out loud. He took at his legs, those very, very long legs of his. "All the better for walking," he chuckled, "and go home in 4 minutes. 40 miles. Mr. Mo came out of the sea after his short swim. "And how I'm going to get home?" he asked himself. So he set off walking. All the way home, 40 miles. That was last year. He got home yesterday. Bye bye. See you next time.